So the Obama administration instructed schools across the country to make accommodations for transgender students, including restrooms and locker rooms. The Trump administration revoked much of that directive, but has not offered new guidance. So now schools are still grappling with what to do about trans students. In one case we'll tell you about tonight, a Florida school district allegedly told a male PE teacher that he had to supervise a female trans student who wanted to use the boys' locker room. Here to tell us what happened and why is that teacher, Robert Opitasano, and the founder of Liberty Counsel, who filed a complaint letter on his behalf, Matt Staver. Gentlemen, welcome to you both.
Well, good to be with you.
Okay, so we're talking about Pasco County, Florida, and they actually had a school board meeting today where this came up. A lot of people, Robert, showed up on your behalf to speak out. So let's clarify a little bit about what happened. There is a student who was born biologically female, now identifying as male, wants to use the boys' locker rooms and restrooms in the school. What were you told about having to watch or supervise or be involved with this process in the locker room?
I was told that the student was going to have full access to the locker room, that it was my job to supervise, and that it was her right to be able to use any part of the locker room, whether it be the locker room, the open showers, or the bathroom.
Okay, so I want to mention something today that the superintendent, Kurt Browning, mentioned. He's quoted as saying this today in a TampaBay.com article about this hearing with the school board. He says, "I want the board and the public to be clear. The teacher coach has not been disciplined at all in any way, shape, or form," Browning said, noting the Chasco Middle administrators have monitored the locker room for Opitasano, whom he called an excellent teacher. Students, he says, quote, "do not undress in the locker room," Browning continued. "There are showers, but no one takes showers." So, Matt, where is the problem here? They say there's no showering, there's no changing of clothes, so Robert wouldn't have to watch that. But was he told something different? Was he told he'd be in trouble if he didn't do that?
Well, the superintendent is not being truthful, because we have public records requests that show a string of emails, and Kathy Scalise, who's the director of the personnel services, she actually sent an email saying that she got directives and she was pushing to have Robert removed from school, and specifically said to instruct the principal on the day following to remove him from school and to keep him out of school as a disciplinary matter until he had a chance to talk with him. He was told specifically to supervise this girl in the boys' locker room, and he has a specific situation. In fact, even in this email chain, it specifically says that this girl undressed at least several times in front of the boys, and that the PE teacher, Robert, was there and did not want to supervise that. So they knew, and they threatened discipline. We never said he was disciplined. The reason why they stopped short of actually dismissing him is because we got involved. But the email chain instructs people to begin the process to let him go.
Okay, so I know there was a female teacher as well who was brought into this situation, said that she didn't want to be involved. Kathy Scalise, the Pasco County District Employee Relations Director that you mentioned, is quoted as saying this: "Have we threatened them with their jobs? Absolutely not." So, Robert, what is your take on this? Because, listen, these school departments are saying, we don't know exactly what to do. We're trying to do our best. We have to think about the rights of these trans students. But others have said, what about the parents? What about the other students, the boys in this locker room? What about their privacy rights? What position are you in now with regard to this case?
Well, I was told that the parents and the students had no rights, just the female student. She was the only one to have rights in there. I had mentioned something that they could get sued, and they said, "We are the largest employer in Pasco County. If we get sued, it's no big deal." Okay.
Okay, Matt, I want to give you a chance to respond to something that is in Pasco County's Best Practices Guide for working with LGBTQ individuals. This one has to do with questions about whether a student comes to a teacher or someone to say, "I'm uncomfortable, I don't feel safe because a transgender student is in my bathroom or locker room area." They're told this, quote, "A student's discomfort does not trump a transgender student's right to use the school facility that is consistent with their gender identity. If it's a comfort issue, you may offer an alternative facility to the student experiencing discomfort." So here they're saying if a student doesn't want the trans individual in their locker room area, they're the ones who need to leave. Is that a solution that works?
That's not a solution that works. And in fact, in this particular case, you'd have to have all the boys go to some other place, because this girl undressed in front of these boys, and the boys came running out. They were disturbed that a girl was in their locker room undressing. So apparently only that girl can use the boys' facility, and now all of these boys that ran out have to go someplace else. That's not workable. That same guideline that they have also says that you should not, in fact, you're not authorized to let the parents know what's happening with their son or daughter in these situations. Now, the same Kathy Scalise that said no one's ever been disciplined, I've got an email from her on September 28th saying it would send a very strong message to send him home. And on the same day, a few minutes later, she said, instruct the principal to tell him not to return to work until we have a chance to talk with him. She wanted to send a strong message. She wanted to ultimately relieve him from his duty, and she is the one now who says, well, we never disciplined.
All right.
She's not telling the truth.
All right, Matt and Robert, thank you both. We want to let folks know we reached out to a number of school officials through email, through phone calls. We want to include their part of the story beyond the quotes that we've had here. If we hear back from them, they are more than welcome to take part in the story. But Matt and Robert, please keep us updated on the case.
Thank you. We will do so.
Thank you so much.
Thank you both.